Hello, poor people. How are you today? Quickly, I'm going to explain how to get rid of imposter syndrome. This is usually a byproduct of success. You can't have imposter syndrome as a failure. At least in my own experience, I've noticed something very interesting, that there are certain level of problems you are alienated from as a poor person. Very recently, I find myself gravitate towards geopolitics, news, how XYZ war affects this company and affects this economy, and how it creates a ripple effect across other economies. Why is that the case? Because I have digital assets, I own shares in various companies, and I need information on how to position myself better. All of this would not be my problem if I don't own those shares. And guess what? It takes money to buy a lot of shares. Believe me, a lot. So one of the ways, in fact, we establish imposter syndrome is a byproduct of success in any sector. So you, as an average bourgeoisie, intelligent, thinks to himself, I'm not successful, this is not my problem, so why still watch the video? I'll explain to you, although we have absolutely analyzed that you don't need this now, but in the future, some of you would need to shelve this video or apply the lessons such that when you arrive at that point, it's non-existent, because the best solution is prevention. It's better to arrive there and not be able to comprehend that you don't deserve this level of success than otherwise. The first way to get rid of imposter syndrome is to become it from a mental standpoint. Let me explain to you. This is not some manifestation or act like the person you want to become. I'll give you logical breakdown on why this is the case. And as usual, this channel is aimed at providing unique solutions to touching life problems. That's why you gravitate towards my content. Not necessarily because I'm the best, yes, which is the case, but there are new concepts to the same problems. Stupidly believing that there's only one solution to a problem is where you have all kinds of problems. Because when you tell someone that the only way to his depression is to read 30 pages a day or go to the gym, and he tries every single thing and he fails, guess what happens? He's become a depressed, muscular man. The worst thing that can happen to a depressed person is failure. Failure. That he dragged himself out of bed to attempt this solution and he fails. Even worse, if he persists in that wrong action, he fails. So just because you're persistent doesn't mean you achieve success. It's like a child who studies for an exam with a wrong textbook. The diligence is there, the passion is there, the zeal, the discipline, all of these variations of virtues are existent. But guess what happens? He would fail. So whose fault is it? The teacher who handed the wrong textbook, or the student who was diligent in his affairs? Exactly. So it's not your fault you've been failing. It's not your fault you've been underperforming. It's not your fault that you have all of these problems attacking you constantly, and you're in the middle of an implosion, wondering why you've tried everything. So buckle up. Becoming who you are or who you want to be from a mental standpoint would save you a lot. Everything you desire today, there is a feeling associated with it. You do not desire success necessarily for the success, but how it makes you feel. The status it confers upon you that once you walk through a room, it turns heads. Everyone is excited to meet you. So you're not necessarily concerned with the success per se, but the byproduct, the feeling, the perks associated. I know individuals today at the threat of job security, they are running helter-skelter, not necessarily to retain employment, but the status this has bestowed upon them is what they're trying to preserve. I am the CEO of XYZ, and everybody is trying to be humble, either to get access. Everything is feeling. If you can skip the logical pathway to success, which is I need to do something, and you feel that way, you would naturally take actions consistent with that mental state. It's easier to be disciplined when you already have the mindset of a fit person. I shared the story previously and I'll recount. I see myself as a fit individual, and this belief caused me to litter my apartment with dumbbells. Before I hit the shower, there is a certain amount of reps I need to push out. Exactly. So you see, all of this activity was not deliberately scheduled into my day. I didn't have to write it down. It's something that happens spontaneously as a consequence of that mindset. The same thing with you. There are spontaneous activities that should arise only from that mindset you would not be able to tap into if you're still desperately trying to do things externally. Once you arrive at that mindset, you would not need external things to validate you. The problem I have with doing things externally is once it doesn't produce the desired outcome, your confidence depletes. Once you approach that lady and she says no, you carry that rejection like an anchor towards the next approach. She says yes in the next one, you feel confident. Another lady declines you, your confidence depletes. Or you walk around the mall long enough to hear a yes in an attempt to feel good. It's a stupid way to live your life. It's unfulfilling, placing your confidence on someone as chaotic as a woman who's attuned to emotions. She cries when she feels like, she laughs just because she wants to, she thinks stupid things, she walks through life saying, I'm a girl boss, I deserve this and I deserve that. Is that the kind of person you want to place your mental attitude upon? Exactly. So become the person from a mental state, and not only would you have cancelled any potential imposter syndrome, but you naturally take the actions that produce the outcome. The second is hot in here, is to accept yourself, accept this new version. One mistake people make is coming from the lowest echelon of society, they still carry the consciousness of a poor person. You don't deserve to be in this room, you were poor, you slept on the floor, remember how you did XYZ, and you recount all the negative aspects of your background. No, you have to turn it. That although I came from XYZ background, I decided not to be here. I decided to work as hard as possible. I decided to learn the information that transits me from point A to point C. That's the kind of person I am. We have Mike Tyson crying his eyes out about feeling like a fat person. I can't recall the excuse he gave. You are the champ. You disciplined yourself. You dedicated your life to that sport. You are no longer that guy. Yes, you were once him, but you're no longer him. It's like Paul or Saul, who was translated to Paul. Is it enough for him to live in the previous life or walk with the previous consciousness? Exactly. That was my previous life. I decided to change. And this is who I am now. So learn to accept the new version of you, and you'll be fine. So Mike Tyson, if you're watching this, I'm not trying to shit on you. I'm not trying to call you a child. I'm not trying to laugh because you cry your eyes out on every podcast. That's far from it. Just giving you advice, brotherly advice. That's who you were. This is who you are. Sustain that philosophy and you'll be fine. As always, my friends, a pleasure speaking to you. I'll see you in the next one.